Hello, I'm Micks Mowers and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be shooting off. We're off down to Hastings today, so right along the other side of the south coast, on the way towards Dover. Just stopped off at McDonald's to get Riley Boy a little tiny, sneaky secret breakfast. What did you have, Riley? Hash browns. And a muffin. Yeah. Fantastic. And you got some orange juice for your healthy option.
Tooth Fairy came.
And the Tooth Fairy came as well last night. What left you a note, and what else did she leave you?
Kinder eggs.
Kinder eggs, fantastic. And all Daddy got was a large latte, because it is actually quite early in the morning. We've left, so time is now. It's 10 to 9. It took us 20 minutes to get through McDonald's, so we might be a little bit late getting there, but I will text a bloke ahead to say, you know, traffic's bad and what have you, so it is what it is. We've got to be there for 10 o'clock. It's about an hour and a half journey, something like that, so we'll see how we get on. It might be a bit shaky on the microphone on the GoPro, because I've got a different mount I'm using. I'm not liking it already, but there you go. So today, we're on our little journey to go and pick up a lawnmower that I found off of our local Facebook marketplace. Which I paid good money for, but it is still very, very cheap for what it is. And this mower is definitely 110% within the vintage era. In fact, this lawnmower was built back in the early 1920s, I believe. It was one of Atco's very, very first petrol lawnmowers. It starts up with a crank handle and is powered by a 98cc two-stroke Villiers engine, and I believe it to be around about the 18, 20, 22-inch cut, I believe. It looks to have been restored at some point in its life, but you know, it is 1920, so it may have been restored about 15,000 times, don't know. But we're off to go and pick up another piece of vintage equipment, of which I don't have a grass bag or grass box for it yet. I'm hoping to find one. But the lawnmower in question we're going to go and pick up is a rather nice Atco Standard AF, made by Charlie Boy, Charlie Pugh, back in the 1920s. So it is over 100 years old, potentially. So we're off down from Bognor Regis to Hastings. It's going to take a little while for us to get there. Riley Boy's going to eat his breakfast as he does so. I'll drink my coffee. We're knick-knack chat and what have you on the way down. And then when we get down there, hopefully we'll be able to do a bit of recording. I've got my trailer on board as well, so we've got a nice cover for it, so it won't be getting wet, because it is absolutely lashing down on the south coast again for about the 6th day running. We've had rain. So I've got the trailer on, so it'll be fully covered. I'll get it strapped down, and then we'll bring it back home, and we'll have a little look around it, see what it looks like. But from what I've seen in the photographs of it, it looks to be in really, really good condition. So come along with us, and let's get down and dirty, and we'll have a look at this little Atco Standard lawnmower we're going to pick up, and we should go from there. If this is your first time visiting the Micks Mowers and Merman channel, don't forget to hit the old subscribe button and whack the old bell.
Ding!
Ding, says Riley. That way you'll be told next time we upload another video. So let's get down and dirty, let's get down to Hastings, and let's go and pick up this Atco Standard AF two-stroke machine and bring it back home.
It's so yummy, Daddy.
Is it so yummy? Oh, I wish I had one now. Well, here we are. The Atco Standard has now just arrived home. So this is the Atco Standard 18-inch cylinder. I picked it up, as you saw in the first part of the video, from a lady and gentleman up in Hastings. It's around about the 1920s era onwards. Very difficult to date these machines. People do say you can find the date inside on the flywheel. There's no date in there. There's a little bit of writing on the back there on the casting of the engine, but the engine could have been changed. Some say that it's a later model because the clutch drum is a little bit wider than the original narrow ones. There's absolutely no date stamps on this machine whatsoever. from what I've been reading and from what I know, Atco only sort of invented the dating system in around about the 1933-35 era, where the little tiny brass plaque on the side of your engine, the first two numbers would be your width of cut, and then the last two numbers would be your year of manufacture. And in some cases have even had a letter A and B afterwards, which means it was built in the beginning of the season and B was built at the end of the season. So that's generally the way around it. But this definitely is around the 1920s. I can't give you an exact date. I will send off the details I've got on the flywheel, but then the flywheel may not be original, so it's very hard to tell. As I say, no dates anywhere on the machine that I know of. If you know of a little tiny stamp somewhere that's hidden, then please let me know inside the comment section. Now, I will just admit, hands down, I've never ever worked on one of these before in my life. So if I do anything wrong in this video or incorrect that you think, Mick, you're doing that, then please say so in the comment section and educate me. The more you educate me, the more I can educate other people. So originally, this ransom, when I picked it up, it was sold as a complete machine without the grass box, and fully working, or have had it running, which is a more of a better description, because vintage machines, you don't run them all day every day. And my dentist that I've got, I have had it running 2 years ago. That's not to say it will start now. However, when I first got this machine in, it was completely locked up. It was locked up solid, and I couldn't even get it to turn over. And I thought, have I bought a lemon? I didn't even check it when I went to go and see. But the starting handle would not turn. I took the spark plug out, sprayed some stuff down the spark plug, and it still wouldn't turn. So I thought I'd actually bought a bit of a lemon. But what I did in the end, just here on the edge of the crank turning shaft, so to speak, there's a little tiny two flats here, and you can get a big adjustable in there, and just gently rock it. And all I'd done was just rock it backwards and forwards on this shaft just here. And that just allowed the piston to move, and it was under no stress at all. Literally, I think what had happened, the piston had gone right down to its lowest point. That's where the engine stopped, and it just got a little bit stuck there. That's all it was. Literally, once I just moved it past that, and the piston rod was able just to kink over, then it was good to go. And now the machine, although there is a spark plug in here, I don't think it will start. The machine will now turn over beautifully. Okay. Now I do believe I have compression on the machine, but what I have noticed is when I first picked it up, the fuel tap was turned on, okay, and it had been turned on. He said he ran it about a month ago, so that fuel tap had been turned on for a month. And even with the fuel tap turned on, I took the bowl nut off a carburettor, and the carburettor was completely bone dry. So I do actually have an issue from the fuel tank through the fuel line to the carburettor. It's not getting any fuel at all. So there's absolutely no point in me even trying to start this machine until I sort out that fuel delivery issue, which it has got. Once I sort that fuel delivery issue out, we can then go forward to check for spark, all that sort of good stuff. If we've got a good spark and we're getting fuel and we've got some good compression, then you know what should happen. And this is, as I say, it's a 1920s machine. Hopefully it will just fire up, and that'll be good. People are saying you should run this on Castrol XR or Castrol R fuel, which is a 2050 mix. So I do actually have some Duckums, which is what I put in my Ransom Marquis. So it's a Duckums 2050. It's not a Castrol. So I'm teetering on the edge of just using some Duckums, which is a high quality 4-stroke engine oil, exactly the same mixture. It's the same thing, just a different manufacturer. So I'm just wondering if to use that. It is a classic oil, so there is no detergents and stuff in there which will upset all my brass bushes and what have you. So that's what I'll be using. If you disagree with that, then put it in the comment section and let me know that I should only be using Castrol. But I have also known you can use modern fuel 2-stroke liquids and run these at 25-to-1. So it's a bit, I think it's more of a thing of what you like and what you don't like. But I can run it at 25-to-1 on modern 2-stroke fuel mixes, which I do actually run my 2-stroke Villiers kickstart one on, and that doesn't smoke at all. It runs really, really nice on that. So I may just run it on the 2050 to begin with, just to give it that flavour. And then I might convert it over to just running 25-to-1 or even 40-to-1 on some of mine I have run, and they've had no problems. As long as it's not running for too long, they'll be fine. So that's that. So let me just bring it a bit closer, just for a quick little look around the machine, and we'll go from there. Oh, before we do get on, actually I have had a little tiny gift from my Amazon wish list. I don't know who it come from. There was a letter in there, a little love letter, but it was so small. I took a photograph of it, and that's just a receipt, so I didn't actually get a name of who that actually comes from. But someone has sent me some satin black tough paint for spraying up cowlings and stuff. So thank you very much. If that was you, put a comment in the comment section below, and thank you very much for visiting my Amazon wishlist. Much appreciated. And also one more side note is Christmas is coming up. So if anyone would like to buy a Christmas present for themselves or for a friend, or if you'd like your wife to buy a Christmas present, then the Micks Mowers and Mower Man merchandise shop is listed in the comment section down below. You can go shopping, send your wife a link, and she can buy some Micks Mowers hats, t-shirts, hoodies, shorts, pinnies, cushions, you name it, it's all on there. So if you want a Micks Mowers and Mower Man merchandise for Christmas, then get the link, give it to your missus, and get her to go shopping. I only make a couple of pound profit off those items. They're very, very reasonable, very, very cheap. I think they are. And you can then be wearing the Micks Mower stuff, just like me. So let's have a quick little look around the machine, and I'll try and point out some of the bits and pieces for you, just to get a little bit of education, and then we'll go from there. Okay, Atco Standard, here it is. So, very nice to begin with, very nice little starting handle here. Take the decompression valve off, so I won't be able to do anything with it without it being on decompression. Lovely little cranking handle action there, that's beautiful. Check out the torpedo exhaust at the back, look at the size of that. That's massive, man. So what you can do with these, I believe, is you can actually take these off, disconnect it here, and this whole exhaust will come apart, because sometimes they get a bit gunky. You can take them apart. There is a facility for towing seat as well, so you can get a towing seat on the back of these. Lovely little flywheel cover there. Ransom's flywheel, and Ransom's Villiers, and then you can take this off. Just got 3 little tiny clips. Take that off, and that will expose the beauty of the solid brass flywheel. Which, do you know what? They should never have hidden that. But that looks absolutely lovely. But it would have been nice to see a bit more finesse on there. But we're talking 1920s. There, I have got some date numbers on there for you as well. There you go, some date numbers there. I don't think it is 19. It says 359. You would distinguish that to be 1935, but I don't think it is. It's a bit older than that. All the points are in there in that little tiny cup. There's my coil in there, which is all nice and lovely. So that all looks good. Really, really nice. That's a brass Villiers carburettor on there. Solid brass. There's a little tiny air filter that just unscrews like so. So you can take that off. As I say, I did have my fuel tap turned on, and it was absolutely bone dry in there. Not a thing going on. So there's my little tiny Villiers carburettor. As I say, it's solid brass. You can see that there. So it would be really nice to. Someone's painted that. It might be nice just to try and take the paint off of that and bring that back to brass, make it look nice and spanking. Comes with a traditional Lodge C3 spark plug up on top, which is standard for these. Little tiny decompression valve here. Up is decompression is turned on, and then turn it down like so for your compression to go harder to fire it. So that's cool. Nice little torpedo exhaust tank. Looks very, very similar to the exhaust. So maybe there was a manufacturing idea there to keep the tank and the exhaust exactly the same for convenience of spares. Nice traditional Atco Villiers throttle lever there, so that's all original, which is rather nice. Let me try and spin it around just a touch, but this thing isn't the lightest machine in the world, to be fair, but I think its beauty is over the other side. We all have a good and a bad side, right? But check that out. Isn't that a thing? Now the colour is a little bit off. It's not brilliant colour. It's not offensive, right? I think it could look a bit better if it's just a bit darker, but I have no intentions as of yet to do a full restore on this yet. We shall see. Here's your clutch plate just down here, and if I just move the clutch, you can see that doing its business, all free and all working as it should do. So there's your clutch plate. That all moves like so. And then here's your cooling fan. You don't be putting your fingers in there when it's running. It's good in 1920s to actually put a guard on there to stop you putting your hand in. That guard works really well, I think. But there you go. One also thing I did do whilst I was trying to see if, because the machine was locked up, was I took the spark plug out, I poured a little bit of oil in there, bit of WD-40, bit of maintenance lube in there just to try and free the piston up. But down here in the deepest, darkest depths, let me try and get you in. Just here, down in there, let me try and get you right in. Let me try and get a pointer. My bench looks absolutely lovely today. Let's get a little tiny pointer, screwdriver. So right down in here, in the depths, there is a little tiny nut just in there. See that just in there, the tiny nut just there, where my screwdriver is? If you undo that, that will actually bleed out the crankcase if there's any excess fluid in there. Now I did take that out, but nothing came out at all. There was no fluid in there whatsoever, so it wasn't hydro locked. But after spraying some stuff in there, I was actually able to get some liquid come out of it after spraying fluid in the top there. And as I say, just a couple of gentle little rocks. It wasn't stuck at all. It was just where the machine has stopped. Literally, it just sort of gone a bit static there, and needed just a bit of a kick just to push it back over. So generally what you would do with these machines is once you stop them, you would literally just turn the crank handle back to put the piston either towards top dead centre or just before. So the piston actually has a good stroke to move next time round. So that's rather nice. All the engravings up the side here. Charles Huey boy, Charlie boy, there he is there, up in Birmingham. Absolutely love it. It's all written Birmingham. All Atco, all bushes of air and what have it. Do you know what? It's all lush. In the back, you also get a little tiny little toolbox, which is lovely. If I can open it, yeah. And on mine, I've got a spare little coil pack in there. That looks quite nice. Couple of shims, some little tiny bolts, and also I've got myself some. This is from my mate Klaus. Got a broken Atco spanner. There it is. OEM tools all the way. You can buy the tools for these. That's a half inch and a 3/8. Yeah, look, Atco, look. So I've got a few tools there as well, which is quite nice to see. As I say, there's your decompression up for compression to be less, and just flick it down for compression stroke. That's all good. Now, some of them I have seen on some forums are saying that this one's got the fine cut cylinder, 10 cylinders or 10 blades. I haven't counted them. But some say, oh, they all come with that, but actually they don't. Some of the smaller models actually have a 7-blade system. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, 10, 11, 12, 13. This has got a 13-blade cylinder. Is that 13? Let me count that again. So that on there, I'm going to go by that little tiny paint mark just there, let's see. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12. So it's 12 blade cylinder on this one, not a 10. So that's quite nice. Here is your drive chain coming off, which is like your torque converter, so to speak. So that is what actually is driving it. And then with your clutch, when you activate your clutch, that then transfers over to your main drive chain on the bottom here. And once your drive is working, your cylinder will then cut in on this chain here coming down, so it comes down, across, down, and output. So there you go. It has had a little tiny repair on the manifold. You know, it is 1920. I don't know if that's a repair actually on the exhaust or actually on the cylinder top itself. I dare say it's the exhaust. I could get it chopped and get it extended and what have you, but I don't want to muck about with it too much just yet. Best just leaving it, I suppose, for now. But I'm looking. There's only 1 or 2 little tiny bolts on here which are not original, but it stood the test of time, right? 1920s onwards, and it's already, I would say, 98% complete. So real nice. Now you can actually get on these. I have seen one in Yeovil, which is quite away from me. I've got rollers on mine. You can actually get a scarifying unit for this, which just bolts onto the front here, and it's just a rod with nails in it. Effectively, it's what it looks like. You certainly don't want to get your back of your ankles caught up on it. But I'm looking into that. But I think his is a 16-inch because he's got a grass box for his, and well, I don't have a grass box on mine. But mine's an 18-inch. So if anyone does have an 18-inch Atco Standard lawnmower grass box, then please get in contact. I know they're like rocking horse poop, I understand that, But if anyone does have one sitting spare that they really don't want to get rid of, just think of me. I'm sat here with a machine with no grass box. So if you have got one, email me up. My email's on my about page. Email me up and say, yeah, Mick, I've got one. Are you interested? And we can talk. So let us know. So that's the Atco Standard. Now, lots of people I've seen put the grass starting box into there like that. It don't live in there. You turn the handle around that way there, and at the narrowest point on my starting handle, which is about where my thumb is there, all you do is you just put it in the narrowest point, and it will just sit. I think it's right that way, actually, Mick. Yeah, that way. It will just sit in there, drop it down, and that's this little tiny home just there. That's where the starting handle sits, just there. So all in all, I'm super happy with it. Nice little Atco Standard lawnmower. The first job I've got to do will be to take the carburettor off, which shouldn't be no biggie. Undo a bolt here, I suppose. Undo that bolt, undo the fuel line, undo the throttle cable. Off comes the carby. And then we can get the carburettor cleaned, and then get the fuel tap cleaned as well. Put some compressed air through there just to try and get that to run a bit better. Well, it's not running at all, full stop actually. Once we've got some fuel coming down, I can then mix some fuel up. We'll check for spark, all that sort of good stuff, and then we'll go from there. So there you go, quick little video on the Atco Standard. This is an 18-inch, 1920s-ish. Give us a comment in the comment section. What year do you think it is? Yeah, I know it's a later model because of the clutch, possibly. Is that 1927? Is that 1922? Because I see lots of videos on these where people are saying, yeah, I've got a 1923 Atco Standard. Well, where are you getting that date from? Because if it's just from this alone, unless that's just some kind of code and you have to send it off, where do you send it off to? Who do you send it to? Or is there a hidden date that only Atco Standard people know about? Well, I can actually date this thing. And I would like to know exactly what date it comes from. Just for my own personal reference, it would be nice to know. But I do know that this is possibly a bit later because of a clutch drum. As I say, the clutch drum on the early ones was about a third of the size of that, possibly. But is that the right clutch for that machine? It could have been changed over. I don't think anyone will ever know the history of it and what have you. So let us know in the comment section what year you actually think it is, or where I can find information. And then if you've got any tips or any hacks for me as to what to do, then do that. Now, there was only one other concern before I go. And that was when I did some short videos on YouTube of this, just to say I've got it, as the camera panned down like so, they noticed just there a little tiny crack. Okay, now I'll do it again. See that crack just there? So I did actually notice that in the short, and someone said, oh Mick, I think you bought a lemon there, bruv. Well, actually, looked at a bit of history on them and what have you, and it's actually a casting line. So it's not actually a crack. You can see the line goes all the way up, you see. But it's not actually a crack at all. I was panicking at 10:30 last night, thinking I bought an absolute lemon, but it's actually just a casting crack. It's been painted over time as well, which doesn't help. There's all paint marks here, so it doesn't help to see it. But literally, any Atco stands you look at with a Villiers engine, they've all got the same mark. So that put my my nerves at rest. So that's good. So it's all pretty much there. There is fuel in this machine, and it is a nice greenish colour. So it's definitely got two-stroke in there, nice little Villiers fuel cap on there. You can actually buy a proper Villiers fuel cap for these as well. That'll look really nice on there. I wonder if my mate Tom in Australia's got one. That'd be good. Send it over, Tom. The fuel tanks itself, I believe they're brass. I believe. So I might just do a little bit of scratching underneath here, have a little look, because I have seen some have got a brass tank on here. This may not be the brass one. But if that is a brass tank on there, don't you think that looks spanking with the brass, all brassoed up? Looking nice. So looking here, see if I can tell. See if I can tell. Yeah, that's brass all day long. Look, that's brass. So I'm gonna take all this paint off, and get my grand's brasso out and brass that up. That'd be good. I have just purchased some decals for it. You can get decals online. If anyone wants the link to where I get my decals from for this, there's a bloke on eBay selling them. It comes with a very, very small Atco signage here, and a big sort of banner sign here on here, and there's a sticker goes onto here as well. So I'll be looking very excited to get all that. All the other bits and pieces. What should I do, gents? What should I do, gents and ladies? Is this going to be a strip it right down and get it looking spanking, or do I just leave it? Now that's open to consultation, right? Because people like oily rags. Someone may say it's already been ruined by being painted, and it's like, you know, I get that. I think it's what you like, you know. Me personally, I think it looked a bit better in a darker green colour. That's what I would think. but that will involve taking everything apart, literally everything. And this has been painted by hand with a brush, I think, because I've got paint drip marks on the cylinder. So this has been painted by hand, I would say. So I could do that. Rather than just taking it all apart, powder coating it, all that sort of stuff, then I could just literally just go over top of this, you know, and do it that way, because there is paint marks everywhere. And the biggest risk to this is of course, taking this apart would be no easy thing. Cataloguing it as to where everything goes, and then painting it, powder coating it, whatever, and then putting it all back together. So let me know in the comment section what you think, what you think I should do, what you would like me to do, and then we can go from there. But there you go, quick little video on the Atco Standard 1920 something 18-inch cut. Hopefully in the next video we can be taking the carburettor off, doing that a full clean. I'll show you how to clean that. Again, it's going to be my first time in doing it, so I'll be educating myself. But it should be pretty standard, because nothing was sort of over complicated back in them days. So we'll get on and do the carburettor clean on that in the next video. We'll check for spark, and then we'll mix up some fuel. As I say, I've got some Duckham's 20W50. That should be okay to put in there just to run it, and then with the right fuel mixture and with the right spark and compression, there should be no reason why this machine shouldn't jump into life. I can't wait to hear it start, but we'll have to all wait together, I suppose. So see you in a tick. So there you go, quick little teaser video on my Atco Standard lawnmower, which do you know what, I've always wanted one, because they're just, you know, they just speak out. They just speak out. I was one of the first lawnmowers in the UK, petrol. And these would have been used in big manor places. They wouldn't have been used just on your back lawn. I have seen some videos of some people having these, and they get it running or what have you, and they fire it up and they shoot across their lawn, which is only the size of a postage stamp, and they're running up and down a bit like a gerbil in a ball. They're absolutely flat out everywhere trying to keep up with the machine, because there is no hairs and graces with them. And I think it's amazing that so many people in the UK and all over the world have still got these old girls, and they are still looking after them and keeping them running. Just get it running, empty the fuel out, put it back in the shed, forget about it. 6 months later, get it back out again when the mood feels, and go from there. So I have got a Dennis Z type, which some people have said mine's a pre-Z, a pre-production Z, which is a 30-inch cut with a crank handle on it. That will be coming back at some point. I'm just in no rush to do it. It's a 1933. So it's teetering on the edge of 100 years old. So I'm in no rush to do it at all. It can sit there. I know it has got a bit of an oil leak on it. So I need to sort that out. But apart from that, hopefully I can get the Dennis back up and running again at some point. It'd be lovely to get the Dennis, the Ransom, and the Atco, and the little Villiers all potting away together, all my vintage stuff together. That'd be great. I've also got coming up on my video, I've got a JP Super coming. I think that's a 12-inch cut, really nice machine. It's pretty much all complete, no engine, just a push cylinder mower. That's really nice. I got an Atco. I got a Atlas coming as well. I've got Atlas outside, little tiny 12-inch Atlas, no grass box. So I'm looking for an Atlas grass box. And then I want a greens as well. If I can get hold of the greens, that'd be sort of my chess set complete. And then I might even try and get hold of an old Allet as well. If I can find an old Allet, that'd be good too. But generally the Allet ones are just huge. And the problem is anything over 30 inches, I physically cannot get into the back of my garden because of the extension and the fence. So I am limited. But there you go. One Atco Standard with a Villiers on there. Now I believe that to be the 98cc Villiers. People might say, actually it's not, Mick, it's the next one up. So have a little look at it, see what you think. Let me try and get those numbers on the back there for you. There you go, can you get in there? There you go. So it looks a little bit bigger than my little kickstart Villiers. So is that a 98cc or is that the bigger one? Let me know what you think. As I say, the more comments that I get in my comment section, the better. Because there are so many people out there that have got all the history to these. And although I'm Micks Mowers and Mower Man, I don't generally work on this sort of old stuff. This is about as old as I've gone. But I would like to learn as much as I can. So if you want to send me links and bits and pieces of where you can find some good quality second-hand spare parts. I know my mate Pete Froud sent me a parts diagram and a parts list yesterday, which was lovely. unfortunately, the phone number I rang it says this number is no longer connected. But yeah, it's you can't get them sort of bits no more. So some bits are obsolete. Some collectors have loads of bits and pieces. I need a grass box is what I need, an 18-inch grass box. I'm sure someone's got one. We'll find one. So I had a friend of mine reach out to me. He's just the other side of Chichester somewhere, Goodwood Way. He says he's got the biggest selection of these and spares in the UK, he reckons. So I might have to go down there and have a little visit down there and all. So we're going to check him out. Yeah, it's very it is. So that is. It's not perfect condition. It has got a few dinks. I know this arm's a little bit bent in as well. I don't know if it's worth heating that up generally and just try and bring that back out. I don't know. The last thing you want is for that to snap and that's game over. So there's so much on here that I can get on with, get cleaned up and get interested in. So yeah, please feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section down below. And just give me some advice, some knowledge and what have you. And by educating me, I can educate others. So I'm doing a video on YouTube. And hopefully that will prove to be good for everybody else that watches the videos going forward, so that'd be good. Don't forget to check out the merchandise, Micks Mowers merchandise stuff in the comment section down below, my Amazon wishlist as well, also down there. If you want to buy me a little gift, feel free to do so. Apart from that, don't forget to hit the old bell and hit the old subscribe button. That way you'll be told next time I upload another video, and if you mark your bell notification to all, every time I upload, you'll be told. It's as simple as that. I look forward to seeing this episode of Micks Mowers very, very soon, but until then, guys and girls, much more importantly, take care easy.